to another episode of 6 Degrees of Associations. We're excited today to have a follow-on conversation with Peter Chrobak. Did I get that right? Chrobak?
Good. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Follow-on conversation, meaning that John Perez with United Payments actually referred us to you, and it's like this stream of consciousness here from service providers to the association industry and to those people who are out there taking advantage of associations and memberships. And so it's kind of an exciting turn for us because we don't often get to talk to members, like truly people who are out there taking advantage of what associations have to offer. So we're excited to be speaking with you about your experience there. But Pete, why don't we first at least start off with introducing you. So you're Chief Financial Officer with Duncan-Parnell. And if you wouldn't mind just taking a second to kind of give us a little bit about you and what Duncan-Parnell does, we can kick off from there.
Yeah, so I've been here at Duncan-Parnell for about a year and a half, in the CFO role of the business. I've been very focused on improving our operations, efficiencies through use of technology and some of our vendor partners. And our business is a distribution business primarily, but we also get into kind of like I would call light manufacturing of signs and graphics, and also repro graphics. And the company's in the southeastern U.S. and we're growing a lot, and it's been a fun place to be for the past year and a half.
What we chatted a little bit before, and actually what I think is unique here is Pete's perspective, not only as a member, but also as the CFO of an organization who's a member of a trade organization. He has been the one, we've been talking about these folks that are like looking at spend and trying to make the difficult decisions during COVID. And then I would say even looking ahead at recession or stagflation of, okay, well, we gotta really look at our spend here, our indirect, our tail spend, what have you. And throughout that period, Pete has retained or maintained their status as a member of some organizations. And I'd love to hear, Pete, like your perspective first on like what got you to stay with your association and not just sort of say, nope, that's out of the expense line. And then we can follow that into maybe some success stories. Yeah,
so there's a few different organizations that we participate in. The ones that we've stayed in and been in a long time, the value through the pandemic where we, all of them switched to virtual meetings, which are great, but you kind of lose that value of getting to meet people and talk to them in person. But they also offered, other features that were helpful, right? So where we could connect with other users still, whether that was through a message board, chat room, or just, smaller group meetings. So the ones that still delivered value where we could still kind of meet in person, to the extent, it was on video, were very valuable to us. And then also too, where we were able to interact with some of our customer base as well.
Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about how you leverage some of the chat rooms and the small communities? Because there are still a lot of associations who don't like provide this opportunity for members to connect with other members. And I just think that sort of creating the community and then engaging the community with itself, not just the association to the member and then the member back to the association. Like, would you mind sharing a little bit about, how that's been of help for you?
Yeah, so the one membership we're in or association, they have different message boards or chat areas where you could post different issues that you're dealing with based on your position in the company. So whether that's sales, finance, accounting, purchasing, whatever area they have, you can post somewhere. And then those feeds will go and get emailed out to other people that are in those groups. So they don't actually have to be active in that area. It'll send them a message. And then you'll usually get, feedback within 24 to 48 hours from some other members. And you get to have that engagement that's important, to help with us, with our business, or to help somebody else with, answering their questions.
Yes, so ASAE has something similar, right? I go in there and I sort of peruse the boards and I subscribe to some of those specific topic channels, as you said. And it's really helpful just to sort of go in there. Sometimes, you post things and you go, hey, I have this issue or I have this need. And then sometimes it's just helpful to just peruse what everybody else is happening. I think it's commonplace in the association industry when we talk to executives for them to say to us or ask us really, what are other associations doing about X, Y, Z or fill in the blank? Is that how you would use that? I mean, are you using it more to sort of post your stuff and get feedback, or do you go in there just to sort of peruse what everybody else is doing and get a feel for the industry?
No, I like to peruse what other people are doing too, because if I can help out and give feedback, I love to participate and give feedback. Some of these groups that I'm in, I'm starting to do some presentations of different things that we're doing that might be helpful to others. But definitely looking through and seeing what other people are doing helps me also get ideas of where we may be able to go, whether that's in one of my groups or one of our sales teams.
That's great. I think it's unique also because, again, not to pick on your title, but CFO, I mean, CFOs and CIOs, CTOs, CISOs, these are sort of like all of the understated C-suite that, up until now, you really, everyone focused on the CEO and the CMO. And, but yet the information that a chief financial officer can bring to conversations, it might not be the position you normally expect to hear from someone who's a member, who's representing the organization within the association. And I have to imagine that that's actually really helpful to a lot of people, where you're bringing a perspective that maybe other organizations can really benefit from hearing, because they might normally just hear from like the salesperson from a member association or a marketing person from the association, and instead to hear someone who can really help grasp the idea, especially when a lot of these member organizations are smaller companies, and they could really use someone who has a lot of experience with the highly coveted C-level perspective on things, especially in finance and in technology. And it sounds like you're a little bit wrapped up in this. Maybe you could actually tell us a little bit about how you met John, and because I believe that was through the collaboration and an association, and that really was something where you were looking to streamline technology and systems and things as the CFO.
Yeah, so in one of the user groups that we're participating in, or associations, they have different user groups based on region. And one of the regional board members reached out to us and mentioned that they had just met John with Unified. So they passed his information along. We chatted with John a little bit, met with him at the in-person conference that they had last fall. We're able to chat with him and talk with him in person, met his team, went out to dinner with those guys, and we're able to determine to move forward with a product he had that helped us to improve some efficiencies, and also communications that we have from Duncan-Parnell to our customers that helped us not only get them their invoices and statements faster, but also our payments to us were faster. And then now, when I'm talking and interacting with other people at these groups, I can also explain to them how easy it was to work with his team.
Yeah, the power of these small group collaboration, throw ideas, there's masterminds and things out there for businesses, but these become, this is going to sound silly, these become sort of the dating app for business, right? I mean, you can get into this network of people who you want to have mutual things, benefits from for your business. And it really, I mean, I've never looked at it like that, but as we started talking, I'm like, yeah, this is just like dating apps that I've never been on. But like Pete, tell us a little bit more about like, how that could evolve, or your thoughts on like other things that you're leveraging that for.
Yeah, I mean, I guess when you say the little bit of the dating app, I think of kind of the round tables you have when you go to these conferences, and you're sitting with a group of 8 to 10 people, and people are putting topics out there. And as you're talking and interacting, you can see who kind of has comparable issues to you, or even personality. A lot of that's just the personality of the people you meet and whether you get along with them that can help you dive deeper into some of these relationships that you didn't expect to have before.
Yeah, you mentioned again in our pre-talk like how you met John. It was a live conference, right? Yep. And what are your thoughts on, like, I'm just sort of teeing this up because I know the answer already, but what are your thoughts on this live conference versus the virtual, and could you make the same connection?
Yeah, I think the virtual versus live, there's a big difference with that connection. In the virtual environment or world, you don't really get the opportunity to spend time with someone one-on-one at a large conference like you do when you're in an in-person conference. So meeting John—
There's breakouts, Pete. Isn't that the same?
In my opinion, it's not the same.
No.
I feel like, when you're looking to work with someone or interacting with someone, that just that personal feeling, touch, ability to see that person and how they act and in their mannerisms is a big deal. And honestly, when we were working with, John, he's a great example. When we met with him and his team in person, that helped develop a stronger relationship. It allowed us to add more feedback as their customer. And I think it's helped us to have a better relationship. And with another trade association we're in, I just met them a few weeks ago here in Charlotte at their annual conference. And I've been working with those guys for a while, and getting to meet them in person, spend an hour or two after the conference was over at one of the happy hour events, I mean, it goes a
Sure.
long way to, strengthening that relationship with us and them, and also providing feedback.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a hard replacement. It's business first, but there's always an element of relationship, professional and personal, that goes along with that. I look back, some of our greatest partnerships at Core Affinity have come through those type of activities, right? We met them at a conference. We talked after, we did a happy hour. We talked about what could be, we got to know each other. And then you sort of jump into, the business lines and the terms and of the agreement, and create this more working relationship, again, with just sort of woven through with the personal. So,
I mean, imagine that we're humans and we like human interaction. It's just amazing. It's funny that we are all still like so surprised by that outcome, that everyone's like, oh, it's really funny, but people do like to be in person. Like, yeah, it's sort of how we were created, but okay. So I'm going to have to wrap us up here, but I do have a question that I'm going to surprise you with, Pete, because I didn't prep you for this one. But seeing that we have, it feels like we have like a secret shopper on our show. We've got a member here. I'm just curious, has there been like one surprise service or opportunity within any of the associations you're members with that you've just been like, this is an underrated benefit and I've loved it, or something that you wish you could see in a member organization that would be sort of like an underrated, under the radar kind of benefit?
I don't know if I've seen it yet, but I think Luke has kind of hit on it with his dating app comment, where if you're in an organization and there's people in similar positions to you, I think a lot of them lack in connecting you to those people that, maybe like-minded or in similar positions. To some extent, the one group, like I said, I'm in, you can sign up to be part of finance or accounting or IT or whatever, but nobody's really matching you up with someone that they think. So I think that would be a big value add, would be just to, hey, Pete, we see you're a part of our membership. Here's 10 people that are in positions like you that you may want to interact with, or something like that.
Look at that. Okay,
well,
Lucas, I hear an opportunity here.
Maybe the development team is listening in and starts to get to work.
I love it. That's actually really good suggestions. And I like how that was a play off of each other there. So that's good. Well, Pete, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I always hate to wrap these up so quickly, but we also do promise you not a lot of time and good casual nature here. So I'm going to wrap us up. But Pete, we'd love to know if there's someone that you're thinking of that could appear on our show that our audience could benefit hearing from, or that we could benefit hearing from in the future.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend you guys touch base with Jeremy Evans, the CEO of CP Align. He works with us in one of our trade associations that we're in. He has a lot of energy, and I think he'd bring a lot of value to your listeners.
Great.
Awesome. Great. Well, I look forward to it. Yes. And the energy is needed. I actually think I have to apologize. I think I called it United Payments, but you're right. It's Unified Payments. John, So John, I'm sorry. I think I missed you at the beginning. I know. Wake up. It's 9:30 for God's sakes. So anyway, Pete, it was been great to have you here. Lucas, great to see you again as usual. And we wish you the best success. And we hope to maybe hear about this dating app that you guys are going to now collaborate on and create for the association industry in the future.